dessert last night because I like I like to have different tastes during mealtime. I can skip an entree, but I do. You usually while preparing food, darling, right?
Mhm.
You while preparing food like to give me entrees,
Yeah.
and then of course the main course, and then I like dessert. And this just sounds like such excess in a world currently. Oh, crazy. It's crazy to read news articles about people in Australia struggling to actually have more than two meals a day. But anyway, I don't quite understand why that is happening. I don't quite understand why have I launched straight into this. I wanted to talk about some good stuff because it is for the Christian calendar, which I guess everything is a Christian calendar.
I
The
guess so.
Gregorian calendar is a Christian calendar because it was created by the Roman Catholic Pope Gregory. So the calendar we all go on is a Roman Catholic
Mm.
calendar. I really must, share more information about the calendars. It's all quite fascinating. But when the Starlander comes back from its publishing hiatus, then there'll be lots of new, interesting things for you to read and catch up on. Until then, because this 25 person production house that is really just Dwayne and me, we have got to focus on other things like, yes, cost of living. I really feel like I want to talk more and more about this. Why have I got both my earphones on? Um, because I'm realizing now that the safety net of material privilege, now that I don't necessarily have that, now that you and I have chosen to pursue our,
Mm.
careers and creativity, holy cow,
The system almost forces you not to do that.
wow. I'm seeing it now. Why I say the privilege of the safety net I had is because I've always had, the cocoon of the life I was born into, and as an adult, just my life, lifestyle, relationships were a big part of that. I was able to pursue my creativity. I have to be honest about this.
Mm.
Um, because otherwise people think, well, how come this is because we've talked about this, darling, and you've said to yourself, well, if you haven't made it, then you're not successful, kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I
Well,
have said to you that
well,
I look at, sorry, yes,
sorry, I've read a lot of quotes by successful people, saying like, if you're still struggling by the time you're 40 and 50, it's your fault, you
sure,
know? So, and like,
wow,
and as someone, but these are people who have reached a stupid height of success.
and
Like,
it's usually accompanied by material
yeah,
success, right?
yeah.
So that's
So,
interesting.
so it's almost that's why I've always held that in my head. It's like, yeah, sure, I get that, because you got this opportunity when you're young. You've got that energy to go out there and do the things. And some people focused on other things when they're young, like me. I wasn't focused on my career when I was younger. I didn't foresee the future. I just thought everything was. I was on a different trajectory,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
a
just kind of trusted my skills or something. I don't know what was going on in my head. So
Well, darling, like every young person, you expect the future to be bright.
mm.
And don't discount yourself like
No, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. I'm just
because
saying this is what I
I
experienced.
hope this microphone is picking up your voice too, because I'm just using my earphones. Um,
Yeah.
because for me, I look at you and think, darling, you have pursued in impossible circumstances in the country of our birth, which unfortunately it is it is a small pond filled with fat fish and fat fish who don't want to give opportunities unless the people they give these opportunities to ultimately benefit and give them the profit. So all the elite in Fiji, unfortunately, all the privileged, they exploit a lot of the freelancers, all the creatives. Fiji is filled with creativity. There's a lot of, but also unstructured creativity, and people all have sparks of fabulosity and flair, and they assume or they conflate that with creative excellence, not understanding that creative excellence requires structuring. And now that I've said all of that, none of that is going to get you anything without privilege. Because privilege is what gives you the opportunities. And privilege isn't just material wealth, but that is what helps, of course, primarily. But privilege is also looks, and primarily women, primarily young women, primarily female. Young men can parlay their looks into something if they're in environments that have visuals, entertainment, production, like the state of America, Australia, etc., etc. Now, if you're an artist, yeah. So even as a graphic designer, I think for me, I consider you successful because you, with all those impossible circumstances and obstacles, chose to pursue your artistic talents and not waste them, not squander them, actually go, okay, well, I'm going to earn money through what you were natural, the innate, what you were born with. And that to me is success, because that to me is commitment, and that to me is integrity. It's not just about, because we all know how difficult it is to earn money just to pay bills. Imagine earning money to have profits, So for me, Dwayne choosing to pursue, because he had opportunities. He worked for the top media agency there, when he went back from studying. We are going to be talking about this a bit more in depth, so please stay tuned, or you'll see the, sorry, I had it, you'll see soon on the style, on our YouTube channel, on here, a bit more information about our backgrounds, etc., and the work we do. Why I'm talking about this is because, for me, I consider that absolutely, like you stayed true to your path, not having any, you have privilege, don't get me wrong. You also acknowledge that you've had privilege, etc. That's why you were able to have the education in Australia, etc. And then when you went back, you were so enthusiastic and gung-ho, and really just, and this I want to talk about because, actually, no, I'll talk about this one here, because at first, even I was like, are you sure you've tried everything? Yeah. Are you sure you have explored every avenue of, recognition and etc.? Because everyone knew you to be this great graphic designer.
Well, at the end of it, surely I haven't explored everything, but I've explored whatever options I thought were available at the time, So, that question's a tough one.
Yes, well, that was my questions before. Now that I understand, now at the ripe old mid-50s, where I'm starting from scratch with all the privilege of my skills and experience and knowledge and, I'm going to say wisdom, more insight. I don't like the word wisdom. I think wisdom is a word that other people apply to people. To say it to yourself feels a bit like, oh yes, I'm the wise, all-knowing one. But insight and observations, etc. And I have chosen to start from scratch because I had to disengage from everything that was my life before, because of my needing to get away from the trauma, needing to actually confront myself, needing to heal, not get away, needing to heal from the trauma. And because of that, I knew I had to just cut everything out of my life, because everything in my previous life was all about sustaining the trauma in me, because it behooved everybody to have me the way I was. And that was all, the person that I am, but without the transparency. Now that the transparency has come to the fore, because everyone loved my honesty, but now it's the transparency has come to the fore. People have just, and that's fine because these are people not deserving of me, and I'm okay with that now. Finally, at first I was like, why, where have all my friends gone? And etc. etc. And then the other part of me is like, oh, look, everyone's got things going on. So naturally, my friends can't be around. And then I realized, wait a moment, I've always been around for them. I've always been around for people in their worst instances. I have literally saved people from committing suicide. And what do these people do once they find out I may not be as carefree and worry free as I have made out? They've disappeared. They've cut me off because they've been very upset that I didn't tell them about Mom. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, I chose not to burden you with, look, frankly, somebody else's misery can be boring sometimes. People are bored with my misery. So I've got all these supposed friends from Fiji who are just social friends, but people I've known for 30 years. No one's around, because they're all, well, they've got to live with trauma, and that's why you're all such assholes. There's people who are former designers that I have championed and who are bigwigs in media, or not media, but, big personalities. And where are you? Where are you now that you know that all that time we partnered together to create to do wonderful things? People just don't give a shit. Because everyone's like, well, yeah, I live with this and I live with that. Because, well, let me tell you, I also said that. In my trauma fog, when I would look at people who were, open about their trauma and what happened to them, I'd be like, well, get over it, pull your socks up, move on. What terrible, terrible things to say, because I'm getting it said to me by people. Oh, we all go through this. I don't give a shit. You haven't gone through these things. I haven't gone through what the people of Congo and Palestine, and I was going to say Pal because, we get punished, but I don't care. I'm not looking for numbers. I'm looking for people. I'm looking for humanity. I'm not looking for algorithm. So, yes, I haven't had the atrocities that those people have had and continue to have committed to them. Do you know what's going to happen to the women in Afghanistan now? The Taliban is going to bring back stoning to death by stoning for women in Afghanistan.
For women. For
women only, of course, because this was something that they used to do in the 1990s and way before. Because.
So is this an Afghani thing or?
Afghan, not Afghani. Afghani is their money.
Oh, right.
Afghan. Well, the Taliban. Afghanistan wasn't like this before. Right. Afghanistan was an incredible, beautiful, architectural, educational, just the things that have been lost by this patriarchal regime that wants to wipe out women. Anyway, we won't talk about that just so we're going to keep it Good Friday. So where was I with this before I went off to that? I was talking about news, etc. I was talking about, I've completely, let me just clear my throat though. Shit, well, I wish I could go back, but anyway, I will continue talking. So because just talking about that has absolutely upset me. And I'm talking about now, I was talking about how, opportunities, etc. We're talking about cocooning, safety netting, and privileges and opportunities, and the privileges that people have. Gosh, and I've completely forgotten why before, because I went on to talking about the women in Afghanistan and what they are going to be subjected to. So I've completely, my friends, forgotten what.
You're talking about your friends.
My friends.
Right. And how they've all abandoned you.
Oh, yes, right. Right.
Conveniently disappeared.
Oh, they've disappeared. They have abandoned. And that's fine because they don't have the mental capacity to. So I'm not looking for numbers here, etc. is what I'm saying. I was saying I'm not going to hide that I'm saying pro-Palestine, etc. Because I'm pro-humanity. I'm not pro any religion. I don't take the side of any racial grouping or any religious grouping over humans. I am anti-genocide, anti anyone who wants to kill other people for their, ulterior benefit. I'm against all of that. I'm pro everyone, and everyone can have their religions together. But anyway, I am talking about all the realities of this. And gosh, the people of our society are cowards. All these party people, you think you're all so tough. Yeah, you're so cool because you don't give a shit about anybody or anything. You lame ass cowards. What absolute cowards you all are. Getting lost in the oblivion of alcohol and drugs, not giving a shit about anyone else. And if anybody wants to make a change, you all rally around the devils. So that, because this is what we were saying the other day, people actually, I had written it because people defend, so people tolerate people's bullshit and their fake shit because people are all full of shit themselves. So people will tolerate, and then, but this is where they will all gossip behind each other's back. They will all gossip about each other. And we come from a society that everyone gossips about the other. You can't, deep fakes have existed in our country of birth for a long, long time. Since colonization in the 1800s, actually. Yeah, but I'm so tired of these people. I'm so tired of these cowards. This is why we have to have lemon flu bomb drinks just to get rid of the germs of the people we know. The mental germs. I'm being extremely harsh on this. Good Friday, I know. But the world is never going to change while these people exist. And a lot of these people hide behind religion as well. Of course, the ones who hide behind religion have got ulterior motives. They use religion and the beauty of what religion could be. And they use Jesus, they use Allah, they use all the Hindu faces of God to hide behind, because their true faces, I'm not going to say the devil, because the devil is a bit of a rort. The concept of devil, it's, if you understand where the word comes from, the etymology, everything that the word has been used, all the synonyms for that word, like Satan, who was an Abrahamic religion god, actually. And the word shaitan, which means monster in Hindi now, but it's Persian. It comes from pre-modern religion, gods, etc. And all of these stories, how they got combined and utilized and usurped, really, to create the stories of fear-mongering today. When it was all supposed to be beautiful. And of course, they used women, not as the core or the source of all evil, but also the ones to actually convert into the new ways of thinking, because, I don't know, I guess all women want is safety. And if you can convince them that something is going to give them safety, women will go for that. Because I'm not going to deny that during the periods where, say, some of the modern religions were born, something had happened to the people, especially in those areas. People lost touch with the divinity of nature, and they started, I think, worshipping the excesses of themselves. Look, I don't know. I'm starting to disbelieve anything that history tells us. There's so much, because the arrogance of humankind, particularly man, also does this one good thing, this one great thing. They actually also record the truths. And so you do. And as you have said, my darling, the truth is all out there. So if people really wanted to know, they will find out. By the way, you're also making coffee, and with our saffron that I'm sorry, I must thank you, darling. And our Arabic coffee. Arabic inspired coffee, by the way, because I love the Middle East. I love their flavors. I love their food, their coffees, their ways, their traditions, their colors, their oh my God, that just, may I smell that again? I'm sorry, excuse me. Crushed cardamom and cloves and saffron. Oh my goodness. Dwayne doesn't put rose water in his Arabic-inspired coffee because it's not necessary, and rose water doesn't provide a flavor. What it does is provide an aroma. So, yum. So there's a lot of brewing going on here, lemon drinks and coffee, and teas, all the different teas. Anyway, okay, so where were we? Oh gosh. Life is very, very complicated. And when it was just supposed to be complex with wonderful layers that we can all understand and that can help us grow and evolve. So what I was saying, so especially around those regions, yeah, people had lost touch with the divinity of nature and the spiritual connection with that, and had started. But again, as I said, I don't know. The stories could all be exaggerated by the people who wrote the books of modern belief systems. Because if you do, and it's all, as I said, it's all written there. If you search for it, you'll find out how, for instance, the modern day Bible, up till about the 20th century, the Bible that was most known was a translation called the Vulgate, the Latin Vulgate. Now, Vulgate, which people think vulgar, how dare you? No. Vulgar just, the etymology of it, and I'm going to assume this because I don't know this for fact, so please do fact check if you want. But the Bible was called the Vulgate, and that meant the common word. And I think that's where vulgar came from. It was common, commonality, common people, common things. So the Bible was translated for the common people, frankly. And that Bible was translated in the late 4th century, so late 300s, and was kept in place until the 20th century. And I think it's still the prevailing Bible. But the stories in there are very interesting, where you can read the truths and facts of history, and actually the evolution of our life cycle. Now, human beings have been around for about 200,000 years, right? Hominids, something like that, 140. We all came from one area, Botswana. They've narrowed it down. This is contentious. Not everyone agrees to this, but people will agree that Africa is the continent of Africa. What we know as Africa now is the source of life. To pinpoint it is still contentious, but they're saying there's these wetlands in Botswana. Now, they weren't wetlands. They were desert. Wherever there is sand, thank you, darling. And I was like, what am I talking about? Wherever there is sand, there was water once. And, there were seas. There were great seas in where the Sahara was. A great ocean, a great sea existed there. And from that ocean, from these oceans, we came. Anyway, so going back in all these stories, etc., there's a lot of things that but really, woman really gets blamed for a lot of shit. It's insane. It's crazy. And that's because she has the womb. And because she had the womb to actually carry life, somewhere or the other, the patriarchy. And I do believe that this is weak patriarchy, because not all man. Man is magnificent. What man is magnificence. For woman's divinity and man and woman at their, man is different. So please don't think that I'm like, it's the patriarchy that's problematic even for man. The patriarchy actually is contaminating man. Anyway, privileges, opportunities, that's what I'm saying, I'm talking about. Opportunities only come from privilege, sorry. And so for you, my darling, when we first met as work colleagues, I was just like, wow, this is incredible that you do all of this. Of course, I didn't know the reality at that stage. You hadn't told me yet. Well, you don't actually get paid for half the things you do, because artists in this world, and a lot of white artists and Euro artists, and there's this writer, Sarah, she's an Australian woman. Sarah, I can't remember, she's just quoted this Euro white male about how artists need to give before they live. And it's like, that's nice, Euro white people. You get the opportunities before the rest of us do. Because in your constructs, of course, you do. In the dominant construct that you have forced upon the world, And somehow or the other, through your conquest and through your rage and trauma, have. How did this happen? How did this happen? The Bible says the earth is only 6,000 years old, when fact says, wait a moment. Okay. And I don't understand how any of this happened. It's all very crazy. Anyway, going back to the opportunities, right? Um, so yes, because the people of our country of birth, my gosh, they love to exploit others because they feel they've all been exploited, so they're going to exploit others. So this is that, that eye for an eye thing. And I'm not talking about these, because it's that eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is that the biblical thing? Well,
No, that's not the biblical thing.
there's so many beautiful things written in all of the holy books.
The biblical thing is eye for an eye. That means fucking revenge.
Oh, the biblical thing is an eye for an eye.
So that what you just said is requoted.
Oh, okay. Well, who said that? Who then said eye for an eye makes the whole world blind? Because you know what? That's what's happening. We're in the Middle Ages still, technologically advanced Middle Ages, and everyone is blind and deaf. Whew. And we're using other people's words to deafen us, to fill our words, fill our brains with other people's words. I mean, Gandhi said that. Well, Gandhi's problematic too. But he's a male who tried. Tried from, fueled by his own insecurity and the anger of being treated a certain way just because of skin shade. It's like, I get it. Like, I'd be like, excuse me, I still am. Like, who the hell do you think you are? When people like to say that to me. Who do you think you are? Me. I am me.
An eye from an eye is biblical, Hebrew. A commandment found in the book of Exodus, expressing the principle of reciprocal justice, measure for measure.
Ooh. May I read that, please? Capture that. Where did the saying an eye for an eye come from? An eye for an eye, biblical, Hebrew, is a commandment found in the book of Exodus. And is this the Old Testament according to Christianity? So it's the Hebrew Bible. Right, it says here. Commandment found in the book of Exodus 23 to 27. What does that mean then?
Chapter 21,
right.
Verse 23 to 27.
Okay, thank you. So chapter 21, verse 23 to 27. I love that you know that, darling. Yeah. Expressing the principle, that's because you went to the Mormon school. Expressing the principle of reciprocal justice, measure for measure. The earliest known use of the principle appears in the Code of Hammurabi, which predates the Hebrew Bible. So, I guess it's just inbuilt in their belief system, eye for an eye, and from that comes Christianity. Okay, interesting. All right. But we are talking about opportunities, because it's Easter weekend, and we're not. It's everyone's doing the thing that they do for Easter, which is on. We didn't go out on Thursday, but the day before Easter, before Good Friday, everyone in Australia seems to go into a mad panic. The shops are just crazy. I don't know now with the cost of living if people can afford to do that. Of course. The ones who are, they're people who are getting richer in these times of struggle. They're people, landlords and property owners of any type. And it's the corporations really that are getting richer because we're all turning to other forms of entertainment, etc., etc. So in the cost of living, majority, like 85% of people are being squeezed. And this is what I'm actually talking about, how now I'm seeing, everyone always gets, it doesn't matter if you have money, you do get affected by the cost of living. And really the higher, that 1% is the one responsible for it, because the reason why everything is so expensive is because of profits. Because people want profits, the price of everything has to go up, which is bullshit. If everyone just said, okay, I don't want profits, Let's talk about what happened during the pandemic lockdowns. I mean, fuel was cheap. Fuel now in Australia is averaging $2 a liter. And I remember when it went to $1 a liter and everyone just went, whoops, not driving anymore. Well, what do you know? There's more cars on the road. Sure, so a lot of them may be electric, but why? I mean, are they? Is there really going to be an evolution where all we're going to have are electric vehicles? Somehow or the other, I don't see the fuel and oil barons of the world liking that very much. I don't think that may be, but electric cars are on the road, but that doesn't mean there's less cars on the road. Now there's still the same amount of cars. There's still the same, more traffic. There's more traffic now.
So that means more cars.
More cars, more people, more cars, more traffic, more rage. Fuel goes up because fuel goes up because more people are doing electric. And so it's crazy. The more demand there is for something, the more something goes up, the price of it. And in services, there should be like, for instance, Dwayne's artistry, my artistry. The more the demand for our artistry goes up, the more our rates go up because, well, it's hard work what we do. And first of all, our rates will have to be lesser so we can get, because people, first of all, get attracted to the rates now. You know? First, yes, sure, the artistry. And then it's like, can you do that for free? No, sorry. Can't do that for free. Also, because we are freelance creatives, we have to charge the rates we do because we don't get paid those rates every day. And those rates cover everything from, from the days we can't work because we're sick, and the days we can't work because, I don't know, or the days we don't have work because AI is taking our work and our jobs. So, well, hey. But if you want artistry and actual things to set your brand and your business and your event, your organization, you and your product, whether that be you or something outside of you, if you want to set that apart, AI, sure, if you want to look like everyone else, and I think seems to be the prevailing way of the world. Everyone's happy to be like everyone else and look like everyone else.
Well, if it's working.
The filters, I don't know if it's working for them or working against them. I'm seeing in the long play how everything is going to work against everybody. But right now, and I guess right now is 25 years. So right now, people are enjoying being clones of each other. Boy, am I tired of seeing that Instagram face, especially on young women. I know that young males use it too, gay, and I believe some hetero. Um, you know, but okay. Sure. If you want to use these filters because you want to fit in, because what are you saying about yourself? Are you saying, especially people of multicultural, what are you saying about yourselves when you apply these Euro white based filters on your face to change the way you look? What are you saying about yourself and your people? I don't know if this microphone picks that up, darling. I don't really know what. I do hope we have sound because I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because we've had sound issues, which is why I'm now using my earphones. So opportunities still, right? So I think you are successful. But what I'm talking about now is how now I'm seeing another side of what happens for an artist, for a full-time artist. Freelance, we have to call ourselves. Because the whole point of artistry is not to be bound. So Dwayne is also a graphics designer, an exceptional one, and extremely skilled. He elevates anything he applies his graphic design skills to. And I'm not just talking in bias. We first met as work colleagues, and I was blown away by his work, and then seeing his portfolio, and then realizing that this is the person I've been waiting for my entire life. At that stage, I didn't realize I meant that in every single way. Because when I saw your portfolio, and I realized all the projects and ideas that have now come, they're all there, required a certain partnership and harmony and the unity of us. So I can honestly, without bias, say these things about you because I first saw the work, you did. and how you create, etc. So you elevate everything, and a lot of clients I have talked to of yours have said that to me, that you really elevate their work, their whatever it is that they have employed you or asked you to do.
Well, you elevate my work.
We work in harmony, so
Yeah.
we'll talk about that when we talk about our work thing, and that's just the nature of my
Yeah.
abilities. I am able to enhance everybody's creativity. I'm not just saying that. It sounds like a big thing I'm saying, but it's actually truth, and I stand by it. The person I trust most in the world says so. And
Well, I've experienced it
we'll talk about that.
twice. Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we talk about
Two
work.
different.
So, all these opportunities, right? So to me, I think that is success, to be able to pay bills, to get by, to live an adult life. And Dwayne did make sacrifices, and he didn't consider them sacrifices because these were things that didn't interest him. The trappings of society and the failings and the trappings of society. All you did that in your late teens and 20s. You partied, you try, gusto, enthusiasm, networking through the partying shit. Oh, it's all bullshit. All the
Well,
all the
that's it, right? You have to go to the
the
parties.
networking for all of this stuff happens outside of the work arenas.
Yeah.
Do not even confuse yourself about where networking happens. You do the networking at work, you're seen as a suck up. The networking happens outside in but then you'll find, and this is where the imbalance is, because people who have got all the ideas but don't have the opportunities, the only time they have the opportunities is during networking, right? And then in these social and social situations, the people who've got all the money, they just want to come and escape, and then they want to fucking power play. I've seen it. I've seen it. I have been on the other side of it all, but I've seen how people just, use their power or their positions to string people on. Because I have said, are you really going to do you intend to hire this person? Or I have talked to people, because I've experienced this with guys in Fiji, like, talking to me. Like, I've had opportunities, but as an attractive woman, guys think that they can get in if they offer, or, so they would come to me and say, well, look, we'd like to hire your services and stuff. I'm like, are you really wanting to do that? Or do you actually just want to try, you think you can get into my pants this way? A, you're not my type. And B, this is not the way to engage my services at all. So I never, ever, ever pursued anything that was ever talked about in a social aspect, because I had the privilege of being able to
Yeah, right.
pursue my artistry outside of a networking thing, because I had the opportunities of privilege behind that. So you have said things to me like you were all, getting and talking with people in the social place, and you were so excited, and they'd be like, yeah, call me tomorrow. Let's talk about this. You call them as they said to you, and then they say, oh yeah, bro, can you call me next week? I'm a bit busy this
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
That's because they're working for daddy, and they go to, like, as I don't know. And then they use power plays. And yes, you got disheartened, but you didn't get, what's the word I'm looking for? You didn't allow society and all of this bullshit.
I didn't break my stride.
Thank you. You didn't allow it to break you. You still you pursued it. You decided, as I was saying, we'll talk about this further. You worked for the top media company, but you realized now you did some other corporate stuff, and you seem to understand that what happens to an artist in a corporation, in a corporate environment, is that they leech the soul out of you. They demand everything of your excellent artistic excellence, but that stuff comes from your soul, comes from your core, comes from your root chakra. It comes from inside you. And in an environment where you're hemmed in like that, it just where they just leeching off you, and it becomes a real a thing of Monday to Friday. And there's lots and lots of artists who don't have. And this is where another type of privilege does come in. So we're going to unpack the layers of privilege too, because there are many people of artistic excellence. And this is going back to what Dwayne had said he was told by successful people. Well, if you haven't made it by 40, well, then that's your fault. Not really. That's just bullshit. It's always going to be people who had the privileges. Because that was me too. I said that to people as well. Well, you're not trying, or you're not doing. I have to say, in my defense, to you, I said it because I saw your resume. And I saw that you were working as a freelance, and you'd been doing that for over 10 years, for 50 at that stage, 2018. So, and so for me, I thought, well, surely you're seen, you earn money as a freelancer, so surely people do know that you are worth it, because everyone would say, oh my God, everybody wanted you. Get that man, get Dwayne. He's the one to get your stuff done. So I thought you were really, really, and then to find out the truth of everything, darling, just blew me away. And so that's where I kept asking you, are you sure you've explored all the avenues? Now, though, that I have been given, look, it doesn't feel like a gift, I assure you. At times it feels like this is just a nightmare. Or I can't say it's a curse, because I think curses are self prophecy things, bullshit. So if you start saying something is a curse, you start believing it, and then regardless of everything good around you, you start thinking of just the worst things possible. I don't know, some shit like that. Now that I'm sort of on the healing side of the healing trajectory, all of a sudden I'm really just less cynical about these things. So Dwayne had the privilege of, what I'm going to say, his brains and his confidence in himself and his artistic ability. So confidence seems to be a privilege in this world, because confidence is what people call audacity. If you have confidence, and that confidence enough to go forth and do what it is that you are meant to do, if you are a person of color, you are considered audacious. And because of that audacity, actually, you then get punished for that audacity. You don't actually get the opportunities that you should. Unless if you sucked up, then you perhaps may. Sucking up is just, Lord. Towing the line, sucking up. My gosh, it's just insane. We can go 1 hour 15 for today, darling, if you...
No.
We're good? Okay. So, and, gosh. But yes, Dwayne had the privilege of having that audacity, darling.
Yeah.
Okay. And in a small society, it's a country of less than 1 million people, and the society is smaller, but the personalities in that society are huge. And the society of Suva, don't misunderstand me on this one, though. No, well, go ahead, misunderstand. Don't misinterpret me on this one. I come down really harsh on the people of that society, because the society itself could be a beautiful thing. Because I grew up in that society, and I am so grateful. I grew up at a time when it was sophisticated, it was intelligent, it was proactive, it was productive, and sure, it was very elite in that it was colonized, and the colonizers liked to keep the people they favored. So everyone of... But through that, then, an interesting thing happened. Through the colonization and the colonizers' favors, people of multicultural, the indigenous, the Indo-ancestry people, well, they absolutely got to be multicultural and global citizens. This triracial man can only speak English because English is the official language of our country. But in Fiji, at a certain time, way before the internet, we were already quite sophisticated, because we had the world's population in our little island. And so, because they were the ones who, I don't know, why are these people always the loudest, but they took over. And so we were allowed to keep our traditions, thank goodness. And then we were also basically living in a European Pacific tropical multicultural paradise. And that is our beautiful country. It is still a paradox. It is still it's so confused. It's so confused for a country that really shouldn't be, for a country that has got quite a few clear-cut ways of progressiveness, I feel. I'm not giving them away for free anymore. I'm not doing any of that stuff. This is all part of the work I do. If this sounds mercenary to you, Good for you. You know, there's been guys who've said to me when I said, "Well, how much does it pay?" "Oh, I didn't know you were all about money." Fuck you. Who you're gonna pay my bills? This guy Nitij, a lawyer. He's an Oreo. He's from Fiji, but he sort of grew up in New Zealand as well. And he's known by people. He was also actually a newsreader on Fiji TV. People don't remember the boring, bland idiots. The Euro white people from New Zealand when they first came to Fiji, went to Fiji to start Fiji TV, because I was one of the first faces of television in Fiji, and this was before the Euro whites came in. Television was brought into Fiji, and I will talk more about this when we talk about our careers. Was brought into Fiji because of rugby, and then they decided to go with it. And the Fiji National Video Center was what produced the television, produced the news at first. And because of my radio and media background, I was asked, and then I was chosen. Now, when the Euro whites from New Zealand came in, this guy, Nick, boy, he hated me. Oh my God, there's a certain kind of Euro white guy who knows that women like me are way out of their league, so they decide to hate us and call us bimbos. And because they couldn't, Fiji at that stage, and I will talk more about this, was very comfortable because before I was a television newsreader, I was a radio producer presenter, I was a model, and I was a jazz singer. Now, only in such a progressive country like Fiji could such a thing happen. A person of Indo ancestry, post the coups that were based on racial tension, was also one of the most well-known faces and accepted for being a newsreader and a model wearing bikinis. Accepted, by Fiji. That's how progressive Fiji was. And maybe there were grumblings here and there, and whatever. That's all jealousy and bullshit. I can say to you that the Kai Viti were my biggest supporters. And Indo-Fijians, unfortunately, well, they just wanted to cut me down. Now, though, 25, 30 years later, it's like, you're a great role model. Thank you for being. It's like, oh, now. Back then, everything was just, and then that everybody tried to un-Indian me. Like, oh, she's just, or thinking that I don't speak my language or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, fuck off with your one-dimensional views on what people are supposed to be like. By the way, apologies for the vulgarity, but this is not vulgar. Profanity is not vulgarity to me. Ha! We just spoke about the word vulgar. The world is vulgar. These words that are made up of letters are not. They're just emphasis. Oh, okay, thank you, darling. Oh, I have to drink mine. Excuse me, I'm just going to turn the volume off because we just need to make a little bit of noise. Sorry if you can hear the kettle in the background. We are in Studio K. um, so yes, I was talking about this Oreo, right? Oh my gosh. Betrayed his best friend, told me all his best friend's secrets. Naughty, naughty, just because you wanted to be in my favor. Because when I was well known, etc., and respected, and when I was trending, every time I'm trending, all these people come out of the woodwork. So before, when I was trending and I was known, I'm quite known in my fields. I'm not famous. Dwayne says I am, and I suppose I am because to about a million and so people, I'm famous. However, I look at Instagram and I see accounts of, say, Indian people, and they have, 1.4 million account followers. And you think, yeah, I have 3,000 something. Yeah, I'm not famous. Not in this world anymore. But then I think also, well, India has a population of how much? How many? Sorry, people? Over a billion? 1.4 is just a drop kind of thing for them. And I am grateful for anyone who gives their time. This is what I was saying, trying to say yesterday about numbers. I hate numbers. And I think I had said a lot more, but unfortunately our sound dropped off and I had to trim. We had to cut the Daily Egg yesterday, so it's only 38 minutes. Numbers are. Anyway, so going back to this, so numbers, money, etc. I have always lived a life of, of that privilege of of living in nice places, traveling and living well, etc., etc., and also pursuing my artistry and charging my value, because the value I give to you in whatever it is I do, and this is what artists like us do, the value of what we do, it comes from inside us. It's our energy that we apply to you and what you need. You're going to put a price on that? We have to. And we would like to make it priceless, but that won't get us jobs and that won't pay us bills, our bills. So it's not arrogance, it's not ego, it's the worth, it's the value, it's the energy we put into things. This is why I value anything I buy. Even if I buy something for $2 from a thrift shop, op shops we call them in Australia, opportunity shops. Even if I buy something, well, I don't like. Look, I Kmart is problematic. But if I buy something from someplace like Kmart, I intend to keep that for a long time. The problem with Kmart is that people think, ooh, so cheap, we can buy everything every month. So why bother washing your clothes and looking after them when you can buy t-shirts for $4? Just wear it once and throw it. That's how people think. And that's the problem with places like Kmart. Whereas if I buy from Kmart, I look at it and go, okay, the quality's not bad, considering that's because they spend a lot of money on that point so that people keep coming back. But it is flimsy. Kmart products from before, when they hadn't made their generic label, I might talk about this another time, their products were good quality. And again, before the Rana Plaza. And all of this stuff, unfortunately, makes you have to realize, holy shit, if Kmart can afford to sell a t-shirt for $4, what is the person who is making this t-shirt getting paid? And that is just terrible to think of. Terrible. I know what I would do if I was a billionaire. I know what I would do. I wouldn't be a billionaire for long, and I'd be a billionaire again, and I wouldn't be a billionaire for long, and I'd be a billionaire again. Because every billion should be, invested in human beings and just strip the poverty off the planet's surface, please. So with Kmart, when I do buy from Kmart, I intend to keep it. I intend to keep that product because of thinking of where the product and who made that product. Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
It sounds like, oh, here we go, bring out the violins. But I don't care what I'm thought of, bleeding heart. Big deal. I'd rather be me than whatever it is that has happened to most of this world. This ennui, this insularity, this blindness that has happened to the world. And then people like to say, oh no, religion, because of that, we do this, we give to the poor, we do this with communities, elders. What? You can't do that on your own. You need religion to tell you that's what you need to do to Anyway, going back to Nithij. Yeah. And everyone, like most women don't like this person. And the funny thing about this person, Nithij, is that his wife is someone we asked to model with us a long time ago. So there's all sorts of history anyway. No names here. I'm just having a bit of a bitch. Anyway, so this person, after he betrayed his best friend and told me his best friend's secrets, my lord, then actually had the audacity to say to me, I thought you weren't about money. I'm like, well, how much do you charge, lawyer? Lawyers charge per second. And, this, as a lawyer, he's got all the Euro White money in his account. So how dare males like this, Oreos especially, and a lot of Oreos like to do that. Oreo males like to make women feel bad about we would like to earn money, thank you, that actually keeps us in the lifestyles I wish to be in. I enjoy experiencing the world's bounty and beauty without taking away from it. I enjoy it not at the expense of others, which is why I have always had guilt, survivor guilt, privilege guilt, whatever. I still have it, considering that I no longer have. We don't swim in the financial privilege pool at the moment. That doesn't stop us from living well. Finances don't stop a person from living well. You don't need wealth to understand the beauty and the actual luxury and privilege of the world we live in. Again, sounds like a lot of whimsical crap, but go ahead, go listen to this from your, young Euro-white wisdom gurus, whatever it is. Don't listen to an old brown woman who has had some experiences that have led to observations and insights about life. Am I sounding a bit churlish? Maybe. Really, really getting pissed off at, 1.2 million views on these young Euro-white girls' accounts showing them while they pretend to stick things in their vagina. This is the world. This is the world we live in. This is the world we live in that lawyers, Oreo lawyers, can say to women of artistry, I thought you wanted about money, while they leech people of money. The world is coming for you because this world is refusing to stay the way humans have designed it. If you cannot feel the shift in the air, then I fear for you. I fear for you. If you cannot feel that there is something about to change. And of course, we would, those of us who believe it, would also, at the back of our heads, there's something like, oh, there's an upcoming solar eclipse, April 8th. And actually, you know who's going to see it the best? The state of America. It's cutting right across the state of America. Australia doesn't get to see a solar eclipse until 2028. I know the exact date too. 22nd July 2028. The last solar eclipse we had was in 2023, and I think only Western Australia got to see that really well. But the solar eclipse of April 8th is going to cut across the state of America because there's something coming for that state of America. Of course, we would like to believe. I'm not a doomsdayer. I'm not. I'm actually a hope-stayer. I hope that something happens. I wish and pray for something good to happen. I do have, and I have said, gosh, we're waiting for a solar flare. My friends, the sun's activity right now is incredible because it is approaching solar maximum. Every 11 years, the sun's cycle. Now it's reaching its solar maximum activity, and the solar flares they call X flares, M flares. X flares are the big ones. Woo! They're I love these earrings. I call these earrings my Outback earrings. Look how Australia these earrings are. I love them. Well, yeah, and by the way, those flares are affecting our satellites and our technology. The waves of that, of course, are going to affect that. If you can feel the sun's warmth and it's so far away, if you can feel it, which by the way, it's so far away, what you see in the sky is 8 minutes in the future. The rays that are coming to you, the warmth you feel is actually from the past?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That.
Where the sun, what you see is the past.
What you see is the past. Right. Yes, the sun is. Thank you, darling. Thank you. What you see where the sun is and the rays you feel is in the past. The sun has already moved on. So yeah, X flares galore. Anyway, well, this has been again, I'm not sure what I was going to talk about today because I never am, but that's the beauty of it. I have certain things I know I would like to discuss and talk about. And then we come here, I press live, and then I just speak. It's a free flow. I mean, that's one of my natural talents. And if you're wondering, God, she speaks about herself a lot and her talents. Oh, well, you got to be your own billboard, right? This is my channel. You are here watching me and watching us on our channel. And I am talking about my skill set and our skill set and what we can do because I have been given this gift of being able to now in the next half century see the world from this point of view so that when I get back and then I start, it's from a new and fresh vantage point. So I never, ever, ever say to anyone, are you sure you explored all avenues? Because as an extremely known, gifted, respected, I have earned you know, money from it in my privilege of the privilege of being cocooned by relationships, my, you know, of my lifestyle. And I've been able to earn money just almost like a, you know, oh, it's a hobby that I do every week kind of thing. You know, that privilege, that's what it is. And that's why it's like, no, you haven't been about, I thought you weren't all about money. Oh, actually, I still do need to earn money to pay bills. So the money I earned was still money I earned. But what I'm saying is now that we have chosen to, we could do this, you know, Dwayne could earn lots of money being a graphic designer and work Monday to Friday, you know, working. And then, but those jobs are going because hello, Canva, hello, AI. Thanks a lot, mates. Thank you, people. But then you decided sort of before that, we're going to really believe in ourselves, take a leap of faith, both of us together.
Yeah.
Now we have the privilege of our harmony and our unity and our both our skill sets combined, the marriage of everything of us.
Surely we can do it.
What incredible benefits people will get from that.
Yeah.
So we took a leap of faith and we're still sort of now in air. We still haven't found the ground, you know, where we took a leap of faith and well, we're hanging in here. You know, maybe it's the gravitational pull of of things, the paddle of the planets, etc. Because we're hanging. And it's like, whoa, are we going to fall? Are we going to stand on solid ground? We don't know. That is the life of a full-time freelance creative. And somehow or the other, through all of that, we pay our bills. And still, people will say to us, why can't you pay? You know, it's like, oh my God, only creatives truly can understand. So when you are not actually in your, I'll talk about this more in the thing, how if you're not pursuing your creative excellence, people will say to you, why aren't you? You really should be. You're so good at what you do.
So talented.
So talented. And then when you decide to do it and you're struggling and you're like, oh God, it's a bit of a struggle. I can't do this. I can't do that. And they're like, why? Why can't you get a job? Oh my God, fucking hell. And then now I'm realizing 35 years of an incredibly packed resume and other people's insecurity will make sure you do not get those opportunities because the people in the positions now of leadership should not be there. And our prime minister is a prime example of that. Sad to say, and I'll talk about that another time because I have this thing of if you are not, leadership is born, you're born with it. But what's your environment like? Because if the pursuit of leadership is because your environment kept you subjugated, not your community, then something else happens here. And these are the people who are the loudest. And I know I'm talking very cryptically, and that's okay, because I want to unpack this another time, because now it is time for the Daily Egg. Thank you very much for being here. This is the whole point of this show. And that must be now time for us to go. See you tomorrow for the feed. Have a lovely Easter weekend if you celebrate Easter for religious reasons. Most people in Australia celebrate it for holiday reasons and to, you know, have 4-day weekend. And well, we're going to be working.
Yeah.
So
Happy
please,
Easter.
happy Easter. Happy all the why are we saying happy Easter when I don't wish anything else? I do wish happy Holy, etc. Easter, of course, and we'll talk about this later on this weekend. What Easter is, how it came together, and also all the stories, the pagan, the harvest, the agricultural practices that combined, all the Egyptian, you know, mythology, theology, all of the things that combine to create this festivity known as Easter, which coincides with Holi, with Ramazan, Nowruz, which is a Persian thing, which is celebrated under the Islamic calendar, but it's Abrahamic, or pre-Islamic, sorry, not Abrahamic, pre-Islamic. So yeah, these are all related. And we'll talk about that this weekend because it's all got to do with our wonderful nature, wonderful agriculture and nature and nature's practices. Okay, bye. That's us from now. Don't be mad. Be curious.
Don't be mad.